interests me is how hard it is to hit the ball. Not just for me, that's expected. But a professional baseball player, on average, only gets a successful hit about once every 4 times. Maybe the only profession where you can fail 3/4 of the time and be successful. But now, help is arriving for the beleaguered batter from a very unlikely place.
Some people think it's a junkyard, but it's my supply yard for my inventions. All of these are things that I have a project for.
Retired Ohio school teacher John Garver has a history of sports inventions. Many haven't made it out of his junkyard, but the first large head tennis racket, now common in the sport, was built right here. 30 years ago, he invented an air-driven gun that throws baseballs. Unlike most pitching machines, this one can quickly switch from throwing curveballs to fastballs. Many teams bought one, but batters wouldn't use them because they were too hard to hit against. The problem, Garver decided, wasn't his machine, but that batters simply didn't know how to hit.
And it took me 10 years to find out what was behind that. 10 years. Then another 20 years trying to convince people I found it out.
Garver is now trying to sell his secret to ball teams. At first, his only success was with Little League coaches. But today, he's been invited to test his ideas out at Kent State University, one of America's best college teams. Many of Kent State's players go on to the major leagues, yet their hitting needs all the help it can get. Head coach Danny Hall.
I think that probably the majority of guys that are hitting, whether it's guys that I'm getting in a college program or whether it's guys that are playing professional baseball, have no idea what they're doing, whether it's mentally, physically, what have you. I don't think they understand what is going on when they're trying to hit.
To show batters how little they know, Garver begins his 2-day program with one of his typical homemade contraptions. The task is to hit line drives.
And we want you to smack this hard. The rules are, it's a good ball if it clears the infield dirt, it's above the ground.
Line drives give batters the best chance of getting on base. And when the ball is in the middle of the strike zone, there's no problem. In slow motion, you can see the bat meets the ball dead center. But now, Garver repositions the balls to the top and the bottom of the strike zone.
Now let's see if that low one counts. Walk up to it. Well, the umpire I know calls that a strike. Okay.
Ground balls are usually outs.
That sound of grass on the ball almost makes you sick, doesn't it? It does.
And pop-ups are usually caught.
Okay.
I was very surprised because I watched the first guy do it and I couldn't believe he wasn't hitting them on the line. And I get in there and do it and I couldn't adjust. When it's not moving and you can't hit it, how are you going to hit it when it's moving?
Slow motion reveals what's happening. Batters aren't hitting where they're aiming, grazing the tops of the low balls, knocking them down, and grazing the bottom of the high balls, popping them up. So Garver offers some radical advice. Aim to miss.
The fix on the high ball is to swing above it. That would be to pass center of the bat, perhaps, across the top of the ball. And if we raise the ball up a little higher, you might have to miss the ball altogether with the bat. And the fix in the low zone was to pass the bat below the ball. So you clean missed it. Try to do that, and you'll make contact, solid contact.
Well, it sounds strange, first of all, because, you're always taught to hit the ball in the center of the ball. And to actually sit there and try to actually miss the ball, knowing that your mind's thinking is it's going to miss, is something new.
Yeah, I got whistle.
All the players are skeptical, but having hit so poorly when they aim to hit, now they try aiming to miss.
Hot dig. That's the first time for one of those, huh?
On the replay, the bat makes solid contact with the center of the ball, even though the batter was aiming below it.
Well, you don't want to do that.
Next, a high ball.
Where are you going to hit?
When I swing, I'm going to be aiming somewhere about right in there.
Okay. pretty good connection there. Okay, a little adjustment on this one, a little bit lower. There you are.
The players are impressed.
Definitely makes a difference just by hitting the ball on a line drive instead of popping it up or hitting it down in the ground.
Look at that sucker go. I'm applying science to what's going on, not happen chance observation. And if we can't establish that the thing we're seeing is true and repeatable, then I'm just a baloney guy, not worth listening to. If we can establish it, then the science tells us you better pay attention.
Now it's time for Garver to demonstrate another embarrassing weakness of the average batter.
Here we go with a four-seam fastball.
How their judgment is confused when pitchers change pitches on them.
Where's his hand and where's the ball?
Batters must point to where they think the ball has hit the canvas.
Ready? Ready?
They're only allowed to see the ball up to the halfway point, which is when they'd have to commit to a swing if they were actually hitting.
Okay. Ready?
This player judged a fastball right on the money. But watch what happens when Garver quickly switches to a curveball.
Ready? Oh, was he really fooled with that one?
On the replay, the error is dramatic.
He just missed a curveball by over a foot. But he had seen fastballs beforehand. That set him up not to be able to identify it. It always does that. Whatever the changed pitch is causes you to miss identifying the new pitch and seriously makes you misjudge it.
We're 28 milliseconds late.
Garver believes the misjudgment can be minimized by pausing between pitches, an idea being tested on a simulator where the light is the ball, the slider, the bat.
We're late by 187 milliseconds.
As the pitch flashes down the track, the bat should pass the white mark just as the last bulb lights up.
Late by 105 milliseconds.
Both the speed of the pitch and the interval between pitches can be changed.
Very good. 17 milliseconds late.
When the interval between pitches is only around 11 seconds, the batter's accuracy is poor.
You were early by 167 milliseconds.
But with nearly every batter tested, when the time between pitches is greater than 15 seconds, judgment improves.
You were early by 1 millisecond. Hit that one out of the park. If batters are facing a pitcher who is throwing quickly between pitches, in other words, not taking very much time, and there are some, for example, major league pitchers who are well known for that, the batter would be wise to call timeout, step out of the box, delay probably somewhere on the order of 15 seconds at least in terms of the time between the pitches to lessen the potential effect of the pitcher changing speeds.
After 2 days of training in Garver's ideas, it's time to try them out in a practice game.
Hey, what do you say? I think about catching.
What about the odd notion of aiming to miss? Player number 9 went through Garver's class, and today at least, aiming below low balls and above high balls seems to be working.
Sometimes it's hard to think about it as you're doing it, but on a couple of them I did think about it and I actually swung higher than it and I hit the ball well.
And number 22, after missing a ball, takes advantage of Garver's research and tries a 15-second breather. This helps him erase from his mind any memory of the previous pitch, and he'll face the next pitch with a fresh eye. By the end of the 2 days, most of the players are convinced, at least for now, that Garver's ideas are working.
In the system that we've been studying, we noticed that we get twice as many contacts. And if that were translated into the ball game, if you can make a guy make twice as many contacts, you could possibly double his batting average.
You know, if you can get a hit 3 out of 10 times, you can make the Hall of Fame. So if you can get that up to 4, it's a big road improvement.
But The real test of Garver's claim to be applying science to the art of hitting will take more than a practice game. Keep an eye on Kent State next season